Hi YouTube and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be having a look at the KWC 1911. Remember, if you like the channel, give us a thumbs up, subscribe and leave a comment below in the section below for comment section. You know what I mean. So we're going to have a look at this KWC. Now anyone who doesn't know the 1911, or certainly 1911 A1, it came about with the name 1911 simply because that's when it came out, 1911, pre-First World War. So although it still looks a timeless gun, it still looks quite modern really, it is a really old design. Obviously the Airsoft gun wasn't around in 1911 because that would be stupid, but it is with us now. And this particular one is the A1 model and it's CO2. So let's open up and have a look at what's inside. So first of all, this is the box. It's fairly standard cardboard box, gives you a few pictures of the pistol and it shows you a little CO2 capsule at the bottom there. A bit of a backdrop on the front of the US Army, US flag and the World War I symbol, sort of giving a bit of its heritage if you like. So let's open it up and see what's inside. So first of all, you open it up and you've got the instructions. So we'll get those out of the way. Fairly basic, typical, standard kind of instructions you get with any airsoft gun. It tells you not to shoot yourself in the face, tells you how the safety works, things like that. Secondly, you've got a catalogue from 2017, so this one's been on the shelf a while. In the accessories area, you get yourself a hex key. That is for fitting your capsule in your magazine. Let's root around. You also get a bag of BBs, which will be fairly low quality, so we don't want them. And finally, you get the pistol itself. And it comes in a nice grey colour, a matte finish. Now, for the eagle-eyed amongst you, you'll notice the grips on mine are slightly different. So if you do look at them, they are more of a tactile style grip. They've quite heavily serrated and it has a thumb relief here to make it a little bit more comfortable to hold on to. But it's still basically a 911 A1, the original spec. Now the magazine is actually in the gun, it has got a capsule in it. I should probably confess that I've actually had this gun for a little while. I wanted to give it a few games and play with it and see how it was before I actually went ahead and did a review. So that's how it looks out of the box. And now I'll give you a bit of a closer up look. Okay, so we're going to have a look at the gun now. So you may notice that we're in a slightly different setting to usual. That's because where we usually film, we're currently decorating. So everything's all over the place and we're painting the walls and whatever else. So we've had to vacate that area and we're in what is lovingly known as my man cave, which is my room upstairs where I keep all my stuff. So we'll probably be filming up here more often now, but I'm going to do a bit of rearranging and get it looking a bit better. So we'll get on with this anyway, stop me rambling. Now, I've played with this gun for probably about 3 games now to get an idea. As you can see, there are some marks and wear marks on it, so it's had some good use. And more importantly, for me, it's coming around to the time of year, to the season when I'll probably be using this more simply because it's CO2 powered. So we get out in those cold frosty mornings, the last thing you want is for your green gas gun to freeze up. So that's when the CO2 gun comes in handy. So if you have a quick look around it, we'll take the mag out, get that out of the way for now. So starting from the top, you can see it's this nice metallic silver colour finish to the gun. Now, this has been pretty tough. I have used this fairly hard for quite a few games and it started to scratch up in place and wear off on the front around the tips where it goes in and out of the holster. But generally, for most part, it's okay. I have actually dropped it as well a couple of times when I've had to swap back to a primary. I was using it as a sidearm while I was sniping and I sort of had it, I grabbed it, used it, dropped it again, went back to a sniper. So it's had a bit of a rough time over the last few months. And you can sort of tell that from the marks on it. You can see where I've been playing also CQB, where I've caught walls and things like that as I've been moving through with it holstered. So it's had a bit of abuse. Now it's a pretty basic gun to look at. The sights are very basic. There's no markings, there's no tips, no highlights on them. Just straight iron sights. As far as trademarks goes, not really much, as it tells you the calibre is 6mm. You've got a serial number, and you've got KWC made in Taiwan, and I can't remember what that little F stands for, but standard 1911 kind of furniture. So we're looking at a beaver tail safety, we're looking at a manual safety at the side, hammer, and a full-sized or full-length trigger, like a blade trigger. So if we cock this now and we lock it back, you can see at the front you've got a metal inner barrel, nice aluminium inner barrel, aluminium slides, aluminium body. Obviously the grips are polymer, but they don't come with this gun. I had changed those. And if we rack the slide forwards with if we rack the slide forwards with a hammer in the back position, we can then apply the safety. So it goes into safe. Equally, if you take that off safety, pull the trigger, nothing happens until you press the beaver tail, or it's tucked into your hand, pull the trigger, and there you go. And a nice sharp click forwards. Now, like I say, this is a CO2 pistol. So this comes with quite a kick, and it also means you can use it on those cold days, which for me is vital during the winter. So if you want to take this down, have a look inside, you take it back, we line up with this small indentation on the slide, and we push the lever from the other side while holding it back. We can pull it out and we can lay it forward. And here you'll see the insides. Now this is actually pretty dry. I need to take it down and give it a bit of service, but the internals are pretty standard. So really nothing out of the ordinary with this gun. It's good old-fashioned sort of know it's going to work technology. There's your piston inside there with your feeder, and a fairly basic setup with your hop up and barrel. These guns aren't particularly expensive. They're only about £110, so they don't break the bank, but they're effective. The range on this is okay. It's acceptable for a sidearm. You're not going to go out sniping with it like you would a Essex or Mark 23 or something like that, but for a sidearm it's actually pretty good. But you do need to keep up on top of maintenance, because with it being CO2, it's a dry gas, you're not getting any lubrication in it, so you do need to keep up to date with oiling the inside of the gun with silicone and greases, and making sure that everything is sat nicely and lubricated. And you can see this is actually getting a bit dry at the moment. I may at some point put a tight bore barrel in and maybe change hop units, but I need to take it apart and have a look and see what actually fits in. Now your hop adjustment, unfortunately, is the old-fashioned type. So it's actually inside here. So to adjust the hop, you've got to take the slide off, which when you're out in the field or in a dark tunnel or something like that is a pain in the backside. But once you've got it set, or if you're able to set it before you go to a match, then it's not so bad. Once I got it set up, I didn't really have to touch it again. So let's get back together and we'll carry on taking a look around it. So this is where it gets a little bit trickier. You put the spring into this little bucket, you push it forwards, and then it locks onto that pin at the back of the hop-up unit, or the front of the hop-up unit. You can then slide it back on to the body, take it back so the cutout lines up with the hole. We can put our slide catch back in. You can release it forwards, away you go. No problem at all. So like I say, pretty basic, not much to it, but it does feel pretty solid gun. A couple of little rattles, nothing much, a little bit from the slide, nothing too bad, but do be aware you're going to get some wear marks on here, but I think it adds to the character of the gun when you get some wear marks. It just shows that it's been used, as you can see on there. So the magazine, very typical looking 1911 magazine, quite small. You see I've got a Crossman CO2 bulb in there. Loading this gun is not fun. You pull it back down here and you can start loading through this area here. It's quite a stiff spring, so it takes a bit of holding on to, and if you're wearing gloves it's next to impossible. However, you can get it in, you can get it loaded, and it's no worse than any other pistol, to be fair. They're all pretty much the same. The only difference is some of the KWA guns have a clip. As you bring it back, it locks in place. Oh, it makes it so easy. But unfortunately, not everyone does the same. That's your trigger, or your trigger valve on the back. As you can see, although I've used it for quite a while, there's no damage or anything to it, all in good condition. And the rubber, much the same as any gas blowback gun. Let's put it in. I'll show you what it actually looks like. So if we cock this now, I'll give it a shot. The BBs, there's no BBs in this, obviously. There you go. Good, hard, solid kickback. Now, I find you can usually get about 3 magazines of BBs out of one capsule. So it's pretty cost effective. It's certainly not expensive. You can buy these capsules off eBay for very little money. I have about 20 of them hanging around in my kit bag for any time that I need them. Now, the one thing about these is that's quite fun. Although you've not got a rail on the front, so you're not going to get any flashlights on there to play in dark areas. You're not going to get any tactical lasers. You can't really change the grips. You can't fit sights to it or anything like that. This is a basic pistol. You get it out the box and you use it. There's not much you can do to this. I mean, you look at your Glocks, or like I did a review the other day on the SIG, and you look at this and it's quite small in comparison to them. It's quite heavy, probably heavier than, it's certainly comparable. So it's quite a weighty gun. It's not extreme. It's not like a Desert Eagle or one of your bigger sort of HK-45s, things like that. But it's a fairly weighty gun. It feels nice in your hand. It feels very narrow, very slim. And I'd recommend it. I like it. I think it's great. And if you're doing a World War II loadout, then it's absolutely perfect. If you're going to do a GI loadout and you're going to carry your Thompson around, something like this, I can't think of anything better to carry with you. So far it's been reliable. It's been very accurate as well. I've had some good kills with it. The hop-up's not too bad. It's consistent. And yeah, I'm really pleased with it. I love the fact you can change your grips. You can make your own grips. You can get grips from anywhere. You can even get an entire, if you really, really want to put a flashlight on it, you can actually fit an entire grip and front cover to this that you can actually buy. And it's basically like a modular designed grip, and it has a finger groove, and it covers the whole of the lower rail, the lower frame of the pistol basically. And it makes it far more modular, and you can actually fit grips to them. But they're about £40, so they're sort of knocking on to half the price of the pistol anyway. So you have to decide whether it's really worth doing that. You've really got to want a 911 to do it, or you could perhaps go ahead and get a more tactical version with a rail already fitted. So, but the options are there if you want to customise it or do something different. I think this would be a great pistol to do a custom Cerakote coating on it. I think this would be a perfect candidate for that, because I think you'd get it to look pretty special. So that's something, if you're really into customising, that's something you could do. And there's loads of bits and pieces. You can't do a massive amount of upgrades to them. There isn't a great deal out there to do, but I think with a pistol like this, it's not really necessary. I think you sort of buy these to play them as they are and just go for it. It's not an expensive pistol. It's not a particularly fancy pistol. It's very much meat to veg, get on with it. Run a garden. It's about as fancy as a lawnmower. So if you've got a tractor drive on lawnmower, this is more of your electric fly mow. So yeah, it's a cracking little gun. So what we'll do is I'll just show you a couple of things I've learned while using it though, out in the field. So a couple of things I've learned with this pistol. Main one being holsters. So anyone who knows me will know, or anyone who knows me through Airsoft will know that I absolutely love Warrior Assault Systems gear. I think it's absolutely fantastic. One of my favourites is their universal holster, which pretty much fits most guns. So it doesn't matter if you've got a Glock, it fits in, locks into place, can't fall out, doesn't go anywhere, mags don't disappear, easy to get back out. Same with SIGs, back in, locked in place, no effort, press the button, out it comes, you don't lose your mag. 911, that's a car. 1911, put it in, not so good. Doesn't fit in, and you lose your mag. So it's locked in place, but we'll do that again. So I'll just show you that again. It's in. It's actually not even locking in now. So it's in, the gun's in there, it's moving around, and it drops out. Do not use one of these for a 1911. It doesn't work. So, what you do? What you can do is get the Serpa type holsters for them. So they're like a plastic retention holster. You put it in, it clips in place. They're great, really good piece of kit. And you can also get Kydex holsters, but personally I use a Safariland holster. And this is genuine Safariland holster, and the reason I use this is they're just so easy to use. They're solid. The only thing you've got to remember is for it to be in, it's got to be cocked, else it won't have the retention. So when you go out to play, you have your pistol, but before you do anything, you have to cock it. Once it's cocked, put the safety on, put it in the Safariland, stops it pushing the slide back with the safety on, lock it in place. It's not going anywhere, the mag's not going to fall out, you can throw it around, you can do whatever you like with it. It's not going anywhere. To get it back out, you press down the lever, out it comes, and away you go, and you're ready to start firing. Brilliant piece of kit. Couldn't recommend these enough. It doesn't matter, this one's a leg mounted one, but you can get the belt mounted or whatever it is. Really recommend these. As usual, I'm not sponsored, nobody's paid me to say this. This is just kit that I use, and you can see with all the damage on it that I've used it quite a lot. This has been banged against walls, doors, you name it, and it's rock solid. No problem at all. It's actually really comfortable, you don't feel it on your leg. I'm not a big fan of leg holsters either, but that one I do use. So that's it, guys. That is the review of the KWC 1911. There's not a lot more to say about this gun. FPS wise, it's shooting roughly around the 340, 345. Unfortunately, I haven't got my chrono set up at the moment to see it, but I have chronoed it on a number of occasions because most fields want you to chrono a CO2 gun. So it's shooting at the top end. For the UK limit is 350. Most sites ask you to have 328 with a limit of 350. So it is up there, but perfect for CQB. Nice and light, easy to get around corners. Like I say, you do miss a little at tactical feel, but if you like a nice simple gun, some days I love running this. Other days I look at it and think, no, I really don't want that today, and I go for one of my more modern weapons. But if you want to chuck it in a leg holster, stay light, move fast, keep it simple, this is a great little pistol, and I do recommend it as well. And for the price, it's a bargain, it really is. It's not flashy, it's not fancy, it just does the job. So as the old Ron Seal advert used to say, it does what it says on the tin, and that's exactly what this does. It's a good, reasonably accurate, solid, reliable pistol, and more importantly, it works in the cold, which says a lot for it, because if you've got a gas gun, like a green gas gun, how many times have you gone into a room thinking, I'm a hero, only to have your gun freeze up and you get shot? So remember that as we get towards the winter seasons, CO2 guns rule. If you like the video, remember, give us a thumbs up, make a comment, and remember to subscribe for more airsoft content that's coming up. We're looking to do some interesting videos for you and get some good quality videos on YouTube. So stay tuned, and we'll see you soon.